Hello lads, welcome to Kickback Garage. Ooh. And welcome to the fourth in the series on the Lambretta TV175 Rebuild. Yeah! Now, today I'm going to be building the fork and maybe some other jobs depending on how fast I get them done. But I'm not really expecting any surprises today. Famous last words. Anyways, I'll send the scooter over and we'll get cracking. What? Right lads, first a little bit of prep on the fork. Obviously the original fork stops, they've not been taken out. Do that before you get it sandblasted and painted, please. That saves you a lot of hassle. And what I used to, I'll just ease this puppy out here. They're actually not that hard to get out. Famous last words. I've almost got it. There we go. There we go. There she comes. So this manky little thing there, I have to get rid of those. What I use there is, this is basically just a bicycle spoke. It cost you a couple of pence at the bicycle shop, and I just made a little hook on the end, and it came out pretty easy. So what I'm going to have to do now is wash out the inner legs here with some isopropanol or something like that, give them a bit of a scrape, get rid of all the crap that's in there, and there's a bit of gravel and stuff from the sandblasting process as well in there, and that is basically so that everything should fit in properly. Rightio, next job is this dust race here. It's had quite a lot of bashing, and the bottom crown race here has been it's not been removed, so that's been sandblasted before it was painted. Probably one of the only things that been masked, but I can't use it anyway. So yep, let's get rid of that. The best way to do that is, as I've learnt while I've been doing these videos, first off I need a hammer. The best way to remove these is there's a little hole in the bottom of the race here, and if you've got a drift small enough, it should be a case of being able to knock it up from the bottom. Should be. Let me put that into the wall. Needs a bit of power. I think a bigger hammer. Definitely move in, and I'll put it on the other side. There's two of these, you see, one on the front, one on the back. Let's see if I can yep, it's moving there too. And I'm just going to ease it up. Look at all the dust that's coming out of that from the sandblasting. Normally that would be off now, but because this part area here is painted, I'm having to bash the paint off while I'm doing it as well, so I'll just ease it off. Got plenty of time. Well, there you go. First hurdle. So I've loosened it, but it's the paint on here is sort of stopping it from going off. So I'm gonna have to use some sandpaper there and take off the paint. Right, so that's the race removed here. I just used a bit of 240 paper, so that should be able to slide up there. And obviously it doesn't, because the paint on the steering stop. I can't even get it over the steering stop here because the paint is so thick. That normally just slides over there. So we're going to have to remove some paint there too. Lovely. Oh, okay. See if we can get it over there. That'll do the job. So that's fit for the bin. So before you build the fit fork, there's some components you should really check before you start doing that, so you know everything's going to be hunky-dory. I'll go through that now. Just let me put this fork away. The first thing you really need to check is your fork links. Obviously these are brand Dabby-Doo, new ones. But what you're looking for there is if you put a rod through the fork links here and place them on a flat area, then these two parts of the fork links, they have to line up perfectly, because they're sat on the rubber buffers, both here and here. And if one flat is slightly higher than the other, then obviously your wheel won't sit straight. And these obviously they're brand new. These are the ever good ones that I said was going to order. They look really nice. Another thing that I had to do was fit new bushes. Now when you fit these bushes, they can be a little bit tight. So the idea of the game is that you're supposed to be able to move it in there, but it's got to be quite a tight fit, but movable by hand. Okay, so that's the first thing done. And also what I've done with the fork is I have driven a rod and some brake cleaner and give it a real good clean in the bottom there. What I'm going to use for the rebuild is these. These are MB scooters, progressive upgraded springs. They're slightly stiffer than original types, but they're not that stiff that you can't use these with with brakes that have anti-dive or something like that. They're really nice. I haven't got these on my scooter at the moment, but I do have these on the Shrekmobile Series 1, and it feels quite original, but it doesn't bottom out the fork when you put on a fistful of brake. So I like those really good. These, the original ones, they were bent, the rods. So this is also MB Scooters stainless rods. That's sort of a lifetime upgrade. Once you fit those, if you have to fit springs in about 10 years time, then you really don't need to change these either. So that's cool. So that's that one. I've got new fork link bolts, and you need the shaky washer. And I've got new buffers. These are the bolt-in type. Got the new crown ring and the new dust cover. Point of note, don't fit these on Series 2s, they don't fit. And it's a bit annoying. I've actually done that, but never mind. And these are the original link washers. So that's nice that I've just cleaned up a bit. They look really good, and straight too. And obviously we've got new damper bolts that came with the kit, so it was quite a complete kit, that was. And I've got new fork bearings, and most importantly here is you saw I took out these old type bushes. I prefer to use these. These are what I used on the later series Lambrettas, like I think it's the DLGP, and they're easier to get out for one thing, but it's easier to measure that the thickness of them is correct, and these sit obviously on the top of the rods there. And I think I've gone through everything there, so let's get building. As I've shown before, I use this one on the fork links. It's really good. It's a high pressure water resistant marine grease. So let's get the old gloves on and lube them up. I think it says something like, in the stickies book, it says something like, it's not possible to get too much grease on these. That's why I use gloves. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to tape the area in which my fork compressor tool fits. Now this is the K2 fork compressor. I really like this. It's just so handy. But the bracket is a bit, can be a little bit tough there on the old paint, and because this is newly painted, I will fit some tape here on the just above the fork boot. Okie dokie, so that's finished taped, and now I'm going to fit the upper fork buffer. Nobody's really quite sure which one's supposed to be where. As you can see, two different thicknesses here. I always fit the thick one on the top, and reading through stickies, I actually recommend that you fit the thick one on the top so that you get better clearance with the eye cap to the fork if you've got fit in an original type disc brake. So I'll be doing that, I think. Now if you buy these are obviously MB, but if you buy these, make sure that the threads are good. Sometimes you have to throw an M6 tap through there, but these really nicely made and already tapped, so don't have to do anything with those. So then that put the skinny ones there, and then I'll fit both these fat ones at the top here. All stainless screws with copper grease, so I've put some copper grease on the threads there, because they can shear themselves actually. Stainless, they're a bit susceptible to that. Please don't scratch the paint, Rob. And they're on shake-proof washers there. So that's that part. Next bit, fit the springs and the stops. Bend over. Obviously you have to check that the springs and the rods are the same height, so that you don't end up with a skew-whiff wheel. And these, obviously, they come from a proper dealer, so they're good to go. Fork stops on the top there, and we'll ease those in. Don't have to tighten the crap out of these bolts, there's no point. First fork link, crease up the side here, the bushes, fit the washers, one on each side. I like to grease. I need more grease, more grease. Oh. Remember to do what I didn't remember to do, and that is just put a little bit of grease in the bottom there. Obviously you can fill these with the grease nipple when it's built. I'll put some grease in there anyway, and should be able to slide that in there. Oh shit, that's annoying. Damn you, paint. It'll be alright. Maybe not. There the bolts, just tap them through. Good to go. Then you have washer and the anti-rattle, vibration rattle anti. Where the hell is that? Damn it. My anti-vibration washer is still on my my link bolt. Have to tap that through. Rob trying to keep up with the times. Like that. Then you fit the anti-vibration washer and the nut. Don't need to tighten them down at this point, just put them in there loosely. Skinny bottom buffer. Pop this in the bottom. Come on, you little bugger, get in there. Still a bit tight like, isn't it? There you go. And if you're using stainless screws, obviously use the old copper paste there, just to stop it from shearing and to ease removal. Then it's just a case of loosening the tool again. This tool is brilliant, seriously. I love the tool. I think that's bent a little bit. Bong, bong. Right, so that's the first fork leg done, and as if by magic, the second one is done. Ta-da! So that was both fork links fit there, and then it's a case of tightening up these disc nuts, and do that now. They're 19, so then I need 19 socket, I think. These are also on anti-rattle, so you don't have to tighten them up to death. Anti-shake washer, is that what it's called? So that part is done, and then I will fit the grease nipples in the bottom. Right, that's the grease nipples fit. Now I'm going to fit these shock bolts. I like to use the old Loctite on these, the red one, because you don't really need to take these off in the future. So I use quite a strong Loctite on that. Normally I'd use blue on everything, but this one I use the red on. I've actually had some of these loosen, so yep, put these, wind these on in here. Voila. You know, the threads are good when you can wind it all the way in by hand, which is unusual for me. Nip those down good and proper. That's nice. Looks good, looks good. And then the last job on the fork is to fit the dust cover and the new bearing brace. Move the fork around a bit so you can see So I fit the, we've got the dust cover and the bearing brace there, which I've greased slightly. Now the best way to knock this on is actually use the old, look how manky that is use the old frame bearing brace. You just slide this over, and this sits neatly on the top of the bearing brace there, and just tap it on. Voila! So that's the lower bearing brace in place there. So that went actually without any dramas whatsoever. It looks really pretty, the old 4K. And I think I'll knock the video on the head here, lads. Quit while you're ahead. No, drama-free videos. Where's the fun in that? Anyway, so do the old subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. And just to inform you, the t-shirt kitty is now at €150, which is very nice. And I thought I'd wait until I get like €200, and then I can buy the old microphone there. So that means I can move around the garage when I'm fitting leg shields and stuff like that, and you'll still be able to hear me without me having to shout very loudly. So that's really good. I really appreciate the support there, boys. And I'll see you in the next video on what am I doing next. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing next, but we'll figure that out. If the engine case turns up, which I think it should do next week, then we've got like engine build. I've got to fit this fork and put the old wheel on and all that sort of stuff. I'm going to do that. A few bits and bobs around the frame. Yeah, we're cooking on gas here. Brilliant. Right, well, I love you and leave you, and see you later, lads. Ta-ra. Oh, that was my Lambretta clock.